Well, my name's Tyler, and I'm from an interesting place. My hometown is actually called North Pole, Alaska. It's it's a little town in the middle of Alaska. It's nowhere near the northern part. It's not too far from Fairbanks. Um, anyway, I grew up on a farm there. My folks had lots and lots of animals. We had everything from I think my first animal was a guinea pig, through buffalo and horses and everything in between. Um, it was a weird little town. It is a weird little town, like in a good way. Um, it's got all the street lights and traffic lights are candy cane striped, red and white painted. There's a statue of Santa in the middle of town. It's like 42 feet tall, and it's right next to this big souvenir store um, called Santa Claus House. And you can go in there, and there's a guy that they pay to dress up like Santa, and tourists bring their kid. Well, even locals bring their kids in to sit on Santa's lap around Christmas time, and um, they've even gone so far as to put a little pen in the back. Actually, it's not even a little pen anymore. They've developed it quite a bit with several reindeer. Every year at Christmas, or yeah, every year at Christmas, they've for the last several years they've started doing an ice park as well, that where they'll bring in huge chunks of ice, carve them into statues, or make little rides out of them, carve it into a big Santa sleigh. Sometimes they'll actually make what looks like a big castle wall with an archway that you can walk through. I can remember in elementary school, one of our English assignments was, well, if you put an envelope in the mail and you write Santa Claus House, Alaska in the United States, then it ends up in my hometown. And so they get thousands and thousands of letters from kids. And as like an English assignment, our job was to answer some of these letters. We had to practice our cursive, and we had to okay everything that was written before we wrote it down, but then we put a little stamp on it that said from Santa's workshop, or had a snowflake or something like that. And I imagine that's not something a lot of people had to do when they were in school, answer letters to Santa. Um, anyway, there was kind of a running legend that sorry, not Santa's, that North Pole got its start because there was a guy that wanted to become, he wanted to build a toy factory, and then produce toys that he could put a sticker on that said "Made in North Pole, Alaska." Um, Actually, I did a little research, and it turns out that's only partially true. It was actually land developers. They named it North Pole, Alaska, in the hopes that it would attract a toy company, which is a good idea in theory, but it gets minus 40 below every single winter, and I can't imagine any factory wanting to have to cope with those temperatures. Um, let's see, what else about North Pole? I guess that's about it. It was a small town. It wasn't anything too exciting or too different. Although, okay, there was a guy there who legally changed his name to Kris Kringle, and he dresses like Santa like all the time. You see him at the grocery store. He'll take his jacket off, but he's still got the big suspenders, pushing his cart around. And I've heard recently they elected him to the city council, so you know, good for him. North Pole, Alaska has Santa Claus on its city council.